32-bit human back again, and this is for us writing the code for the Leonardo. The first step to doing this is to put your LED into existence. So int LED is equal to 13, and what this is basically saying is that the LED is on port pin 13, and that will lead us to the next step. Next step is void setup, and this is a function that needs to be written on pretty much all Arduino programs. And what this does is this allows you to declare whether an LED is, or any component is, an output or an input. Receiving data is input, and taking out data or giving out data is an output. So it could be anywhere from serial to an LED to a button, which button would be input, an LED would be an output. So in this situation, our LED is an output, and so we need to put pin mode LED as our variable output. And it's very important that you write output as all caps, as this is a very cap sensitive IDE. One important thing is the semicolon. It gets a lot of programmers a lot. For instance, C++, it's very common for programs to be ended with the semicolon. So make sure you have that. Next part is the void loop, and this will constantly loop your program, so it won't end unless you program it otherwise. But that's the main purpose of void loop. And as both the function void setup and void loop, you're supposed to write those into every Arduino program. It's very important. So next part, we write digital write, and W being caps, LED high. And this basically says for the LED to be high or to be on, have a high voltage. And then the next, well, first we need to make sure that it has a time constraint. So the delay is going to be 1,000 milliseconds, which I believe is 1 second. Which is kind of weird because seconds go by 60 and then milliseconds 1,000. So base 10, base 6, I guess. Anyways, digital write again, and this time instead of LED equaling to high, we're going to have it equal to low, in which the voltage will be lower. Delay 1,000, which will delay it or have a time constraint of 1 second, and that's your program right there. As I explained, delay is 1 second. Digital write is high or low or on or off. The loop is to continuously run the program. Void setup is to set whether it's an input or an output, and then into LED is to declare which pin it is. Now, next part of it is to see in action. So we're going to upload this sketch. First, we're going to verify it. And one important thing before you verify it is to make sure that whatever board you're using, for instance, I'm using the Leonardo, but you could be using Uno or any other ones, but make sure you have your board under Tools, Board, Leonardo set up. Serial port, I'm on COM5, and usually with the Leonardo it'll pick that up, but on the Uno, I hear that it doesn't always pick it up, so just make sure you have that under control. Now let's upload it since it was all good. It was all green. So the binary sketch amount of bytes was set up, so you're all good to go. It will tell you how many bytes your chip has, which in my case is 28,000. I'm using 4,000 bytes currently. That's not really an issue with an LED program, but it will be an issue for more or higher costing memory. So a lot of times you'll use an EPROM chip, which is non-volatile memory, to store your data for whatever reason you may need to. But we'll get that in later tutorials.